Have you ever walked out of an appointment and thought, why didn't I ask that question? Or look back at a family conversation and realize you said yes to something your body and your heart were screaming no to? If you've ever felt small in rooms where big decisions were being made about someone you love, this episode is for you. Today, we're going deep into caregiving empowerment, not as a buzzword, but as the quiet, daily act of using your voice, your knowledge, and your boundaries to protect the people you care for and yourself. By the end of our time together, you'll have a simple empowerment framework, practical language you can adopt for medical professionals and family members, and a short weekly empowerment ritual you can start. You deserve to feel like a partner in care, not an afterthought. Let's begin. Welcome to Radiant Moments, Caregiver Oasis. I'm Michelle from J&B Inspired, and our mission is to help caregivers find strength, balance, and purpose with practical tools that fit into real lives, not fantasy schedules. Our community includes partners caring for loved ones, parents managing complex medical needs, adult children supporting aging parents, and young carers doing all of this while studying or working. The common thread, you're showing up often quietly, often invisibly, and carrying a lot. This episode is about empowerment, but not in a just be confident or speak up more way. Empowerment, as we hold it at J&B Inspired, is knowing you have the right to understand and influence care, having simple language and structures that support you to speak up, and honoring your own limits, values, and needs alongside the person you love. We're going to weave mindset, real-world examples, and some structures together so you're not left with theory. You'll leave with ideas and actions you can actually use this week. Redefining empowerment for caregivers. Let's start with what empowerment is not. Empowerment is not always being calm and collected, knowing every answer, or carrying everything alone because you're strong. That picture usually creates more shame than strength. For our purposes, caregiver empowerment is the ongoing practice of recognizing your role and rights in care, using your voice to advocate for what's needed, and making decisions that honor both your loved one and yourself. These are three truths I want you to hold close. Number one, you are a key member of the care team. Whether or not anyone says it out loud, you are often the historian, the organizer, the emotional anchor. Your observations, your limits, and your questions matter, medically and emotionally. Number two, you're allowed to have needs and boundaries. Empowerment isn't only about speaking up for the patient, it's also about speaking up for you. Saying, I can't sustain this pace, or I need clear instructions, is valid and wise. Small, empowered actions count. We often imagine empowerment as big showdowns. In reality, it's often writing down one question before an appointment, asking a nurse to repeat a medication schedule, or saying, I really need 2 minutes to think before I answer. Take a breath here. If some part of you is thinking, I should already know this, that's okay. Systems don't always tell carers that they're allowed to have a voice. Today, we're changing that. The Care Empowerment Framework. To make this practical, I use a simple framework. CARE. C-A-R-E. Clarity, alignment, request, edges. Think of these as 4 levers you can actually pull when you feel steamrolled or confused. C is for clarity. Know what you're trying to do. Disempowerment loves confusion. When we're unclear, we either freeze or say yes to everything because we don't know where to push back. Before appointments or big conversations, ask yourself, what do I need to clarify today? What decisions are we trying to make? You don't need a full plan. Just one focus. A tiny practice you can use 30 to 60 seconds before an appointment. Take out your phone or a scrap of paper and write, one question I must ask, one concern I need them to hear. That's it. 2 lines. Bring that with you, and if your mind blanks under stress, you can look down and use those as anchors. A is for alignment. Check against your values and reality. Alignment is about noticing whether a recommendation actually fits your family's values and cultures and your real-world capacity. That's your time, your money, and your energy. Ask, does this recommendation line up with what we value? Dignity, safety, connection? Is this plan realistic for our time, money, and energy? If the answer is no or not quite, it's okay to say something like, this plan doesn't feel realistic for our family. Can we explore an adjusted version that keeps the same goal but uses fewer appointments, less travel, or more support? Empowerment here isn't rebellion, it's collaboration. You're working with the system to find a plan that actually fits, not just nodding along to something impossible. R is for requests. Be specific. Requests that genuinely empower you tend to be concrete, one action, one sign, one call, time bound, today, this week, 2 weeks, and directed to the right person. Medical professional, family member, school, administration staff. Instead of saying we're overwhelmed, you might say we'd appreciate a short call to clarify the medication schedule. Is there a time we can book 10 minutes this week? Specific requests are much easier for people to say yes to. And E is for edges. Know and respect your limits. Your edge is the point beyond which continuing as you are becomes harmful. Edges might be the number of nights you can go without proper sleep, the hours per day you can safely drive, or how many appointments you can manage in 1 week before you start to unravel. Naming edges is not selfish, it's safety. You might say in your own words, I can safely do 2 night shifts a week. Beyond that, I'll need support or we risk mistakes. That is empowerment in action. Not because it's loud, but because it's honest about what's possible. Holding care in your mind, clarity, alignment, requests, and edges gives you a gentle checklist anytime you feel pushed around, confused, or invisible. Empowered communication shaping your words. Let's talk about how this plays out in real conversations. You know, I'm not a fan of stiff scripts that you're supposed to read word for word. They can feel clunky and take you out of the moment. So instead, think of these as shapes for the kinds of things you might say. Then, translate them into your natural way of speaking. With medical professionals, getting a clear plan. Sometimes we leave appointments with a swirl of information and no clear what now. Towards the end of the consultation, you might gently bring things back to one specific action to focus on this week and one clear sign that means you should call or seek urgent help. In your own words, you could ask for that clarification, and then once you've got it, either write it down or record yourself summarizing it on your phone. That way, you have something concrete to lean on when you get home or need to explain it to others. With nurses or administration, clarify logistics. If you're confused about who does what, who to call about medications, appointments, or home support, it's okay to ask for structure. You might say that you want to make sure you've understood who's responsible for what and how they prefer you to get in touch. If responses are vague, you can gently ask for it to be written down in a care plan or sent by email so you can share it with family. That's not being demanding. It's protecting everyone from miscommunication. With family or friends asking for help without guilt. This is a big one. Many carers feel deep guilt asking for anything. One way to soften this is the 2-week trial idea. Choose one specific task you're struggling to carry alone. Maybe school pickup, 1 appointment a week, washing, or a regular meal. Ask if someone can take that on for just the next 2 weeks, and then agree to check in together. If they hesitate, you can always explore a smaller version together, rather than abandoning the idea completely. The point is to make sharing the load feel like a flexible experiment, not a life sentence. Boundaries, saying no or not now. You're allowed to decline things, even good things, if saying yes would push you beyond your edge. You might say something like, I can't take that on right now, without risking burnout or mistakes. I can help by doing the laundry, but I can't also do the groceries. It's honest and specific. It avoids vague apologies and protects your health and your ability to keep caring well. Self-advocacy. Your needs are medically relevant. Sometimes empowerment is about telling a professional how the system itself is affecting you. For example, you might explain that you're close to burnout and would like to talk about support services, respite, or plan adjustments that could reduce the load and keep everyone safer. That last part, keep everyone safer, really matters. It frames your well-being as medically relevant, which it absolutely is. If any of these examples make your chest tighten or your eyes sting, that's okay. It can feel scary to imagine saying them. You don't have to use them all or use them perfectly. Start with one conversation where you bring just a bit of clarity and honesty. Inner empowerment. Healing the small voice. Empowerment isn't only about what comes out of your mouth, it's also about the stories playing on repeat in your mind. Many carers carry messages like, I'm not the expert. I shouldn't question. If I rest, I'm failing. Speaking up will make things worse. Often these beliefs come from past experiences, times when you weren't listened to or when you were punished for having needs. Number 1, the what's true now check-in. When you catch one of those old beliefs, pause and ask, is this 100% true right now? Or is this an old story? For example, if I rest, I'm failing. A more accurate version might, right now, rest prevents mistakes and protects my ability to keep caring. You could rephrase it as, rest is part of my caregiving, not a break from it. This isn't positive thinking, it's reality checking. Number 2, micro celebrations. Your brain is very good at remembering what went wrong. Empowerment grows when you deliberately notice what went right, especially the really tiny things. Each night you might ask, where did I use my voice today? Even a little. What tiny boundary did I hold? It could be as simple as, I asked the nurse to explain the medication again. I said no to an extra favor. I took 90 seconds to breathe before making that difficult phone call. Write down one or say it out loud to yourself. Over time, your inner story shifts from I'm drowning to I'm a caregiver who is learning to lead. Number 3, a grounded empowerment mantra. Generic affirmations like I am limitless don't always land when you're exhausted. Instead, choose something grounded and specific, such as my observations and questions are valuable. It's okay for me to ask for clear information. I'm allowed to take up space in this room. Pick one that feels just a little more true than your default and say it before appointments or difficult calls. Over time, this becomes the baseline for how you show up, not as someone begging for permission, but as a partner in care. Now, weekly empowerment ritual. I want to leave you with something simple you can build into your week. A kind of Sunday empowerment ritual. It doesn't have to be Sunday, but I'll use that as an example. Set a timer for 10 or 15 minutes and move through 3 parts: review, rehearse, restore. The first part, review, is about 3 to 5 minutes. First review. Ask, where did I feel small this week? Where did I feel strong? Jot down one example for each. This gives you a more balanced picture, not just the low points, but also the moments where your voice showed up. Number 2 is rehearse. It goes for about 3 to 5 minutes. Look ahead. What's coming this week? An appointment, a school meeting, a family visit? Choose one phrase or idea from this episode that you want to try. Saying it out loud. Practice saying it out loud once or twice in your own words. If it feels awkward, tweak the phrasing until it sounds like you. You're not memorizing a script. You're giving your mouth a chance to try on some new language so it's easy to reach when you need it. Restore is about 3 to 5 minutes, and that's number 3. Do one tiny act that reminds you you are a human being, not just a role. This might be making a cup of tea and actually sitting to drink it, listening to one song you love and dancing, stepping outside and looking at the sky, writing 3 things you're grateful for, or using your 90-second reset from episode number 13. This ritual doesn't need to be perfect or elaborate. It's simply a weekly reset that says, my voice matters, my well-being matters. I'm actively shaping how I show up as a carer. As we move into the holiday season, empowerment might look very ordinary and very brave. It might mean saying, we're doing a small Christmas this year. We can visit for 1 hour. not 4. Or even, we're not up for visitors this time. You're allowed to choose what keeps your family safest and most settled, even if others don't fully understand. Next week, I'll be sharing our Caregivers Holiday Survival Guide, Peace and Presence. We'll take this empowerment work and apply it to specific holiday situations so you can protect your energy and still find little pockets of joy and connection. For now, your gentle challenge is simple. Choose one idea from today, maybe a care question, a boundary phrase, or an inner mantra. Practice it out loud once and use it in one real conversation. Thank you for all the unseen ways you show up, often tired, often stretched, and still loving. From all of us at Radiant Moments, keep taking those tiny decisions that add up to strength and take gentle care of your radiant moments. I'm Michelle, and I'll talk to you soon.